Your dog may have asked you for help today. But because they didn't bark, growl, or run away, you may have completely missed it. The request might have looked like a tiny tongue flick, a sudden yawn, a glance from the corner of their eye, or a body that became unusually still. These movements are easy to dismiss because they don't look dramatic. Some even look cute, funny, or obedient. But in the right context, they may be your dog's quiet way of saying, "I'm uncomfortable. Please help me." And if those quiet signals repeatedly fail, a dog may eventually feel forced to communicate more clearly. In this video, you'll discover 7 signs owners commonly misunderstand, what those signals may actually mean, and how to respond without making the situation worse. Stay with me until the final sign, because it can look like perfect cooperation, when the dog may actually be too overwhelmed to respond. But before we begin, there's one rule that changes how you should interpret everything you're about to see. Never judge a dog by one movement alone. A dog may yawn because they're tired. They may pant because they're warm. They may lick their lips because food is nearby. Instead, read the entire dog. Consider what happened immediately before the behavior, what is happening around them, and whether you see several signals together. Most importantly, compare the behavior with what is normal for your individual dog. Once you start doing that, their smallest movements can become surprisingly loud. Picture this. You lean over your dog to take a photo. You place an arm around their shoulders and pull them closer. For half a second, their tongue flicks across their nose. You think they smelled food, or that they're simply being cute. Then it happens again. Lip licking can have several causes, but when there is no food present, it may be a sign that a dog feels nervous, anxious, or uncomfortable. Now examine the rest of the picture. Are their ears pulled slightly back? Did their mouth suddenly close? Are they turning their head away? Can you see the whites of their eyes? Has their body become tense beneath your arm? When several of these signals appear while someone is hugging, looming over, grooming, or crowding a dog, the dog may be asking for space. Don't test the warning by moving closer to see what happens. Pause the interaction. Release any physical pressure, soften your posture, and turn your body slightly sideways. Then allow the dog to decide whether they want to approach again. The important question isn't simply, "Did my dog lick their lips?" It's, "What happened immediately before they did it?" That tiny movement may last less than a second. But when you respond to it, you teach your dog that quiet communication works. The next sign looks so ordinary, and so human, that owners often explain it away completely. Your dog is sitting in the veterinarian's waiting room when they suddenly yawn. Poor thing must be tired, you think. Then they yawn again. And again. Dogs absolutely do yawn when they are tired. Yawns can also be contagious, especially between dogs and familiar people. But repeated yawning during a tense interaction may be connected with stress or anxiety. A yawn can also serve as a pacifying signal, communicating that the dog isn't looking for conflict. Scientists still don't understand every reason dogs yawn, so context remains essential. Look at what is happening around your dog. Is the leash tight? Is a stranger leaning over them? Are unfamiliar animals getting too close? Is someone reaching toward their head? And is the yawning accompanied by panting, lip licking, pinned, back ears, trembling, or attempts to turn away? If several signals appear together, create more distance when it is safe to do so. Let your dog stand behind you. Give them time to sniff and process the environment. At the veterinarian, tell the staff what you're noticing, and ask whether the interaction can be slowed down. One yawn is information, not a diagnosis. Several changes appearing in the same situation form a pattern worth noticing. And the next pattern is frequently mistaken for a confession. You arrive home and discover cushion stuffing scattered across the floor. Your dog lowers their head, pulls their ears back, and avoids looking at you. The verdict seems obvious. They know exactly what they did, and they feel guilty, but that so-called guilty look may be a response to what is happening right now. Your stare, your posture, your tone of voice, and the tension in the room. Looking away can be an attempt to reduce conflict. A lowered posture may reflect fear, anxiety, or stress. Your dog may be saying, "Please lower the pressure," while you hear, "I confess." Watch what happens when you point at the mess, stare at the dog, or raise your voice. Do they crouch lower? Do they lick their lips? Does their tail tuck farther beneath them? Those signals reveal something about the dog's present emotional state. They don't reliably tell you who destroyed the cushion, or whether the dog understands a punishment delivered long after it happened. Instead of conducting an interrogation, manage the environment. Move tempting objects out of reach. Provide safe chewing outlets. Consider whether your dog needs more exercise, enrichment, training, or support for separation-related distress. Then solve the underlying cause instead of frightening the dog after the event. A dog who turns away is still communicating, and when you can see the whites of their eyes, the request for space may be even more urgent. You've probably seen this moment online. A child hugs a dog tightly around the neck. The dog keeps their head still, but moves their eyes sideways, exposing a crescent of white. People laugh and call it dramatic side eye, but behavior professionals commonly call this whale eye. And it may be associated with anxiety or stress. It can appear when a dog feels trapped, worries about a valued object, or wants more space, but doesn't feel able to move away. Don't focus on the eyes alone. Look at the entire body. Is the dog rigid? Is their mouth tightly closed? Are their ears pulled back? Is someone blocking their exit, touching their face, or reaching toward their food? If those conditions are present, calmly end the interaction. Ask the person to move away, and give the dog a clear escape route. Never encourage a child to continue hugging a dog who is showing discomfort. If food, toys, or other valued objects are involved, don't challenge the dog by grabbing the item. Use safe management, reward-based trading, and professional guidance when needed. Whale eye doesn't guarantee that a dog will bite. It means their comfort deserves attention now, before they feel the need to communicate more forcefully. But many owners miss the next signal, because they were taught one dangerously incomplete rule. A wagging tail means a happy dog. A visitor walks through the door, and your dog's tail begins moving quickly. Assuming this is an invitation, the visitor immediately leans over and reaches toward the dog's head. But the dog's body is rigid, their mouth is closed. Their tail is held high, and moving in short, tight strokes. A wagging tail indicates emotional arousal. By itself, it doesn't reveal whether that arousal comes from happiness, excitement, uncertainty, frustration, or tension. A comfortable greeting often includes a loose body, relaxed facial muscles, and broad sweeping movements. Sometimes, the dog's entire rear end moves with the tail. A fast twitch, like wag combined with a rigid posture, communicates something very different. Tail position can offer information too, but you must know the dog's normal resting position. A dog whose tail naturally curls upward cannot be judged by exactly the same standard as a dog whose tail naturally hangs low. If the dog's body is loose, and they voluntarily approach, allow a calm greeting. If their body is stiff, their stare is fixed, or they're trying to hang back, ask the visitor to ignore them. No reaching, no leaning over them, no direct staring. Give the dog distance. Use a barrier, or provide a quiet room where they can decompress. Treat the wag as one word in a full sentence. The rest of the body tells you what that word means. Sometimes, however, the message isn't hidden in a tiny facial expression. The dog repeatedly tries to leave, and people repeatedly bring them back. During a noisy gathering, your dog begins wandering from room to room. They approach you, retreat, circle the furniture, and glance toward the exit. They lie down briefly, but immediately stand up again. It may look like attention, seeking, or harmless restlessness, but pacing can indicate that a dog is unable to settle because something is stressing them. Looking away, hiding, avoiding contact, or repeatedly increasing distance can also communicate discomfort. First, check the dog's immediate physical needs. Do they need water? A toilet break? A cooler place? Could they be tired or experiencing pain? Then consider the environment. The trigger might be loud noise, unfamiliar visitors, another animal, unwanted handling, or simply too much activity happening at once. Offer your dog a quiet, familiar space where nobody follows, corners, or touches them. Familiar bedding, a chew or a food puzzle, may help if the dog willingly engages with it. But don't use food to lure them closer to something they fear. Pay attention to the pattern. When does the pacing start? What makes it stop? Does it happen only during crowded gatherings, or has it appeared suddenly in everyday life? Brief pacing before dinner may mean something entirely different from new, persistent pacing, especially in an older dog. In senior dogs, repeated pacing can also be associated with cognitive changes, so discuss it with your veterinarian. Leaving isn't always disobedience. Sometimes, it is the clearest and safest choice a dog can make. Yet there is another state that's even easier to misread. The dog stops pacing, they stop pulling away. They stop protesting, and they become completely still. Imagine you're trimming your dog's nails. They pull their paw away once. You hold it more firmly. Suddenly, they stop moving. Someone says, "See, they finally accepted it." But stillness doesn't always mean calmness. When a dog freezes or becomes rigid, they may be so stressed that they are shutting down. This can become dangerous, because people often continue the interaction, believing the dog has finally given permission, while the internal pressure may still be rising. Real relaxation looks different. The muscles are soft, breathing is natural. The eyes blink normally. The mouth is loose, and the dog continues to participate voluntarily. A freeze may involve a tightly closed mouth, fixed eyes, held breath, rigid muscles, or body weight shifted away from the person touching them. The dog looks more like a statue than a relaxed participant. When that happens, stop. Release the pressure, and give the dog space. Don't lean over them, grab their collar, or punish them for refusing. For nail trimming, grooming, or other handling, divide the process into tiny reward-based steps. Teach the dog that they can participate voluntarily, and that moving away will be respected. If freezing appears suddenly, particularly when a certain part of the body is touched, consult a veterinarian, because pain could be involved. And don't wait for a growl before listening. A growl is valuable information that a dog is uncomfortable. Punishing, it may suppress the warning without changing the emotion that caused it. That is the truth, connecting all 7 signs. Your dog isn't hiding a secret code from you. They're communicating with the body they have. A lip lick may mean, "This interaction is uncomfortable." Repeated yawning may reveal pressure. Looking away may be an attempt to avoid conflict. Whale eye may request more space. A tight wag may reveal intense arousal, not friendliness. Pacing may be a search for relief. And freezing may mean the dog has run out of easier options. None of these behaviors should be interpreted in isolation. Compare them with your dog's normal behavior. Consider what is happening around them. Look for several signals appearing together. If your dog's behavior changes suddenly, continues repeatedly, or creates a safety concern, contact your veterinarian or a qualified behavior professional. But in the moment, your most powerful response is often simple: pause. Create space. Lower the pressure. And allow your dog to make a choice. When your dog learns that subtle signals work, trust grows. They don't need to communicate more loudly, because you notice the whisper. Now think about your own dog. Which of these 7 signs have you noticed, and what was happening when you saw it? Tell us in the comments. Your experience may help another owner recognize their dog's quiet request before the warning becomes louder.